The Tsunami That Hit Japan by Milana Walls. First there was an earthquake. The earthquake was formed because the country of Japan was formed on top of 3 tectonic plates. The plates' names were the Philippine Plate, the Eurasian Plate, and the Pacific Plate. They were rubbing against each other. A tsunami is a series of extremely long waves that are spread out about 200 to 400 kilometers. The earthquake was 9.0 magnitude on the Richter scale. It was so powerful that it shook everyone on land. The earthquake was also powerful enough that it split roads right in half, as you can see in the picture. The tsunami tore towns and homes apart. The tsunami left people homeless. A lot of places in northeastern Japan were damaged, and a lot of people died. The earthquake early warning in Japan. When 2 or more seismometers detect P waves, they immediately process the readings and distribute the warning information to other users, such as news stations and mobile phone companies, before the arrival of S waves. There were lots of TV stations that were broadcasting this, as well as radio stations. 103.5 and the news channel on the radio were broadcasting it. There were TV channels that were also broadcasting the disaster, like Eyewitness News and CBS. Many Japanese stations were showing pictures of the cars in the water and planes in the water too. As a result of all this disaster, a nuclear power plant was flooded and the cooling system stopped working. Without the cooling system, the nuclear radiation was not able to be contained. Because of that, there was a huge nuclear explosion off the coast of Japan. The nuclear power plants were letting out a lot of radiation, which made the air unsafe to breathe. A lot of people had to evacuate their homes. The air was unsafe to breathe, so they couldn't stay. The government sent out helpers to move along the people out of the city. Children even had to have doctor checkups and tests to make sure they weren't poisoned with anything. Some children even had to wear masks to make sure they don't breathe in the air. Some people even had to leave their loved ones behind. They couldn't go on with them anymore, so they had to leave them behind. The city that was affected the most was the city of Sendai. The earthquake that caused this whole thing was off the coast of Sendai. This is a picture of the perfect city of Sendai before the disaster. And this is just one of the few towns that were crowded by fallen airplanes, lots of rubble and ash, dirty water, and cars that were moved along by the huge waves that went through Sendai during this terrible disaster. The tsunami and earthquake completely destroyed Sendai. As you can see, the huge waves are moving along, almost reaching one of the small towns of the many that were destroyed. Lots of people were devastated. Some people even lost their clothes and had to wear blankets. Lots of people were killed, and the government sent out multiple search parties to look for them in the stew of debris. Many are still missing to this day. This was a terrible natural disaster that left many homes stranded in a sea of rubble and on fire. Japan is cleaning up right now, so hopefully they will restore the country everyone once knew and loved. Thank you for listening to my report.